Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. There's some interesting possible developments within the DC film universe or DC extended universe or DC universe, whatever you want to call it. And these are taken by a grain of salt, but it seems very plausible coming from the sources that this has come from. Now, I've talked about how there could be a rise in a new direction of this whole universe that they're setting up because of the choices that they made with the directors, the choice of the stories that they're putting out, and the choice of how it's coming out. It's not being leaked. There haven't been anything really negative about it. So at first you kind of wonder, is it really true what Tsujihara had said after Justice League, that they've made a mistake, they're going to control it better, they're going to be more director driven, and he's no longer going to involve himself too much in it. The Marvel universe, they're not going to look at the Marvel universe and try to emulate that in any case, or duplicate that in any case. So they want to try to do their own thing once again, being director driven, and I think that is really good for the universe. So they, like we've known before, they chucked out Jon Berg, they demoted Geoff Johns, they got this new guy coming in from Walter Hamada, who came in from New Line Cinema, and they're shepherding this whole new system, what it means to believe. And so by the time that slate came out with Aquaman and Flashpoint and all that stuff, I think that was still from the old universe, and so now they're trying to now they got something new coming, new brewing, and then we've slowly started to see that. We slowly started to see it as Ava DuVernay is going to do the New Gods. We slowly started to see it when Steven Spielberg is doing Blackhawk. And then yesterday we had Margot Robbie saying what movies could have come out. Birds of Prey is going to be an R-rated girl gang film, allegedly. And so that is all interesting. And she even picked her own director of Cathy Yan. So what can we tell from this? Well, when everybody was talking about the R-rated film, girl gang film, everybody's like, oh, wow, that is interesting. But the one thing that the story wasn't really going around is that, oh, they're trying to copy Deadpool. Oh, they're trying to do this. They're trying to be a success of Logan because that's an R-rated superhero film. And I think the reason why nobody's talking about that is because the studio didn't proclaim that someone should make an R-rated superhero film, and they're going to try to do that. They didn't say that. They didn't do that at all. What came out in the story was that Margot Robbie herself has pitched a girl gang film that will be rated R to the studio and said, this is what I want to do, and the studio is letting her do it. See how the story would be totally different if the studio said, we're going to make an R-rated girl gang film, we're going to make an R-rated superhero film, let's get somebody to do it. You know, the story totally changes when the creative team is involved into making the concept of a movie, and it's going to be R-rated, and the studio approves it. So that can tell you right there, that's a director-driven studio. Okay, that's cool. Ava DuVernay about the New Gods. She had a hint about Big Bar. It's possible she wanted to do a New Gods film. Maybe she was a fan of New Gods before, and she pitched that to the studio, and the studio, Walter Hamada, says, okay, let's do that. Yeah, sure, why not? We all know Steven Spielberg wanted to do a Blackhawk film for a while now. It was just revealed after he actually got accepted and actually going to make it. I think there was actually plans that he wanted to do that, and maybe the studio never opened up to it. It didn't fit in their universe per se. But now, because it's director driven, now they're looking at projects and saying, yeah, sure, you can do that. They open it up. They open the barn doors, if you will, and letting directors come in with their pitches and say, hey, I want to do this. Can I do that? And they're looking, Sure. Here's your money. Go and make that film. So I think that is a great idea. I think that's a great way to build this new universe in separate stories that aren't really actually connected to each other, but remain within the same realm. And I think that's a great way to handle this new universe without having to emulate or duplicate, try to be something that you're not. And Marvel is doing it well. They're doing it okay. They're making it looks like a TV show with the quality of big budget films, and having that series finale with that incredible Infinity War with a season premiere with Avengers 4, that type of storytelling, that's awesome. Marvel is doing it well. let's not do that way. And I think even with the possible takeover with the Fox Marvel thing happening, that there will be only one other, other studio that are making superhero movies. And I think DC should really do something different. Like Zack Snyder said, we have to do something too. We can't copy them. And I think they've learned that now. I mean, I was kind of iffy about that because Kevin Tsujihara, which we didn't really trust. But it seems like the things that are coming out are seemingly going as planned, as in the new direction. They are more director-driven. He's taking a step back, letting Walter Hamada, who take charge of this whole thing, and they're going to do something that is completely more open to directors. It's kind of like how Netflix lets these directors come in and make their movies, and it says, we're just going to finance it. That's a great pitch. We're going to finance it. Go ahead. Netflix is a lot more open to different types of movies. They're not studio driven. They're director driven. So I think that is a great thing. Now, this one thing that came out today, Umberto El Mayimbe, he is a scooper, an ace scooper. He has been wrong sometimes, but he has been right a lot of times. So, but take this as with a grain of salt. Is that he put this picture up, and this is Jeffrey Dean Morgan dressed with looking like the Thomas Wayne Batman from Flashpoint, and he's fading away. He's fading away like after Thanos had snapped his fingers, and he's fading away. So, what can we get from that? It's a very cryptic picture, but it's pretty much at face value. You can tell right away that means Flashpoint is no longer going to be made. It doesn't mean that the people the directors from Game Night are not going to make the Flash movie. They are definitely going to make the Flash movie, but it's going to be the solo Flash film, which I've always wanted. I believe that Flashpoint is too early. She shouldn't make a Flashpoint movie yet. We just had a Justice League movie. We don't even have a Justice League 2. And even more so with Infinity War, I think they're making a right decision. Let's not just make another superhero film with superheroes dying again, right? We're going to do our own thing. We're building our own thing. These directors wanted to make the Flash movie. Let them make the Flash movie. Let's not tell them they have to make a Flashpoint movie. And ultimately, maybe that's what happened with Rick Famuyiwa. He wanted to make a Flash movie. They tried to make him make a Flashpoint movie, and he just didn't want to go there. And that's ultimately how he ended up leaving. So maybe now, with the Daily and Goldstein, they're looking at that. They have a Flash movie, and this is the pitch. They went through the communication, and they went through the studio table and says, this is what I want to make. We want to make the Flash movie. And now with this new direction, Walter Hamada just says, okay, go ahead, make the Flash film. Great, go ahead. You have to use Ezra Miller with, and they're like, okay, we can use Ezra Miller. Now the other thing is about Matt Reeves, the Batman. I think Matt Reeves was fighting with the old studio at that time when he left and he came back, and there was a lot of things going around. But I think now with the new direction, now they're giving him time to write his story, craft his story. If he wants to make a Batman trilogy, you go ahead, make a Batman trilogy. You don't have to connect with this. Maybe you don't even have to use Ben Affleck. I don't know what's the direction they want to go with, what they want to do with that, and if Ben Affleck, if he wants to come in anymore. I'm thinking if Ben Affleck's not going to come in, I don't think they're going to write him off in a story way. They're going to Don Cheadle him in a way, just like how War Machine did. So that's how it may work out for that. But in any case, it is Matt Reeves' decision on who he wants to cast as Batman. They're giving him, the studio is giving him that opportunity. The studio is giving him the opportunity to make the movie that he wants to make, and that's a director-driven film right there. So this is all good. Flashpoint, I mean, that is an epic film altogether, right? It's huge. And if I wanted someone to do an epic film, I'm going to go for an epic director. Epic film director, and maybe possibly, here's a rumor, and this came from OneRing.net. They cover everything from Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, the Tolkien trilogy. They curiously put out a tweet that Peter Flippin' Jackson is looking at doing either the Amazon series. I think it's an Amazon series, the TV series for the Tolkien trilogy, Lord of the Rings, or a DC property film. And I hope he does a DC property film, because that would be badass. I mean, Peter Jackson working on a DC film. Are you kidding me? That is going to be some epic stuff. And I hope it's epic, because please don't waste this man's talent on some subpar Gotham hero story, solo story, or a solo film of any sort. He has to make an epic film, because that's his repertoire. That's how he does things. Flashpoint would be great and perfect. Some people even mentioned Green Lantern. And I'm like, not just Green Lantern. If you're going to do that, go Green Lantern Corps out in space, warring things. I would love that. You know, all the different lanterns, Red Lantern, Green Lantern, you know, they're all fighting each other. And hey, that is amazing. Something epic of that nature would be perfect for Peter Jackson if he so chooses, wants to do it. And he's already in Warner Brothers lot. So I wouldn't, you know, it'd be amazing. And I think that because of this new direction, if he really wanted to do that, he would pitch his movie and they'll probably say yes. Okay, they'll probably say yes, because it seems like they don't have, and this might be a bad thing too, where the timeline, there is no real timeline. They're just getting all these directors who want to make their own movie. It's like back in the day when Christopher Nolan made the Batman films, Bryan Singer made his Superman Returns film, and they didn't say they're connected, but they could be connected in the same realm, but they're just not, you know, you don't see cameos from each other. It could be like that right now. It could be that's how this world's going to be, with maybe the same actors and actresses playing those same characters throughout. Still iffy on the Ben Affleck thing, but I still want him to do it. But that could be the new direction. Now, this is interesting because I remember Dave Pina and I had talked about that article from Cosmic Book Resource, I think, where they talked about there's different directors, and that one guy who tweeted, I forgot what was his name, but he tweeted that there was a big name directors that are involved, and the names that were put up was like Steven Spielberg, which we know now that he is making a film with a DC property film. There's other names like Quentin Tarantino, which are like, yeah, okay. James Cameron, okay. Peter Jackson. I remember saying that Peter Jackson was probably one of the likely ones out of all those directors that were on that list, and I think it may actually be coming true. I don't know. I don't know for sure. People have said that Ring.net was is a fan site, but it's more legitimate. They actually get good confirmations and things like that. So it's possible. I mean, it's quite possible, and I would be all for it. I just hope he does something epic and amazing, something we haven't even heard of yet. You know, like how New Gods just came out of nowhere, Blackhawk just came out of nowhere, and Birds of Prey kind of just came out of nowhere. So it could be one of those films that just comes out of nowhere and we had no idea that they were going to make it. But it is director driven. These directors have their choice. These directors are the studio's more open to these directors' pitches, and if they like it enough, they'll let them do it, and maybe they'll let them do it how they want them to do it. And I think that is a great new direction for this DC universe, to separate themselves to being like Marvel, and soon enough with a lot of these movies, and maybe the successful ones, that people will start not judging them to, you know, not to go into DC. They go to a DC film expecting a DC film, and this is how they make DC films. They go into a Marvel film, and this is how they make Marvel films. So they have those expectations already in the way. They're not expecting one or the other to be similar to each other. And I think that is a great way to separate yourselves. You want to go watch a Marvel type movie? Go and watch a Marvel type movie. You want to go watch a DC type movie? Go and watch a DC type movie. And I don't mean per genre. I mean in the way it's the movies are connected together, like a TV show, TV series. And while DC is making, each film is rather very much different from each other. And I think that's great. It flexes the director's muscles a bit so that they don't have to get into the rhyme of being the same, or trying to make the tone and look similar to the film after it and the film after it, the film after it. They can pretty much do their own thing, it was what I hope. Now, we don't know for sure until the next few movies come out and we get to kind of get into the rhythm of what they're actually trying to do. And we won't actually really see that until possibly maybe Shazam, but I want to say even after Wonder Woman 2. I gotta say like New Gods or Birds of Prey, one of those outside of these three movies that are to come out, that will finally get into the rhythm of what DC Universe is trying to do. All right, guys, what did you guys think about all this talk? Let me know down below. Do you like this, hopefully this new direction, or did you want it to be more like Marvel, more connected, like things like that? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, guys, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.